Nigerians are not revolutionary in their mindset. Nigerians are just hungry people who are just greedy, covetous, who are just after what they want to eat. For me, the only people who are real revolutionaries in Nigeria today or within the Nigeria geography are the Biafrans. And before I show you empirical evidence why the Igbos, who consist majorly of the Biafrans, are the only people with the revolutionary mindset, let me take you to what happened in a northern state just yesterday or so. I think this happened, unfortunately, in Jigawa state. A truck laden with fuel, PMS, fell, and over 300 people went there, started scooping the fuel, and there was a spark, and instantly over 100 persons died. For what reason? These are the same set of people, if you ask them, let us come outside, let us call end to bad governance, let us go outside, let us protest against subsidy removal, they won't. But you see why they went out for the fuel. It is because they feel they are hungry, because they feel that that fuel will give them instant solution by putting food on their table. Don't forget I said I'll tell you why the only people that I think that I have seen and believe to be true revolutionaries who are convinced and who are ready, even for a long period, pursue that goal without relenting at the Igbos. I'll go ahead. But before I do that, let us quickly read the response of Peter Obi. Peter Obi said, sadly, this ugly news of loss of life has become so rampant that no one can hardly keep pace of the counts. Report from Jigawa have it that over 100 were lost to the fuel tanker explosion last night, with over people suffering varying degrees of injuries. This repeated practice of rushing to scoop and fetch is unconnected to what? Desperation, poverty, and the extremely hard economic what? Pressures. When your economy is hard on you, when the government of the day seems not to have the sympathy of the people, in all Sena climes, Sena environment, if the people are not animals, by the way, what they do is they go out there, they organize themselves, they rally against that policy that has brought hardship on them. But not the case in this country called Nigeria. And again, I don't blame why these guys, these people who I have seen as the only revolutionaries, why they insist that they want to go. They are the only one who are determined that every Monday they will sit at home no matter what it costs them. As of today, it is not in any way beneficial to them. But they believe that they keep sending a message. Soludo had done everything to threaten them, to try and suppress their voice. You can see to an extent that a person like Alex Oti, who by the way is the best performing governor from the Southeast, has actually alluded and he has accepted their resolve that, well, if you guys don't want to come on Monday, so be it. But you guys should allow Abia to be peaceful. So the Nigerian people, on their own part, will just adjust like a cockroach and they are ready to live by it. You can see the hypocrisy from the federal government yesterday. The federal government yesterday released a memo saying that Tinubu empathize. Oh, what an empathetic president. He said he empathized with the people who were sadly, killed due to the ghastly explosion. Hello? Imagine if a bag of rice was still 6,005. Imagine if a derica of rice was still sold for 120 naira. Imagine a spag, which is now 1,000 naira, is still sold for 65 naira. I don't think anybody will find it, necessary to go and scoop fuel. But instead of the police to secure the Nigerian people, to prevent this very horrendous accident from happening, the Nigerian police keep inflicting pains on the Nigerian innocent people. Just yesterday in Enugu State, a young boy, a very bright, vibrant, intelligent, with a bright future, was gunned down by the Nigerian police for whatever reason that don't even care to know. This guy wasn't caught with arms. This guy wasn't threatening anybody. This guy was just on his own and he was shot dead by the Nigerian police. You haven't seen the president, who is trying to be empathic with the people, saying that may God bless the souls of those that were, because of your own policy that you imposed on them. We have not seen the president use one police officer, maybe using the IG, for failing the people. We keep talking that we need state police. The president has kept quiet about that. Oh, because he wants to be the only one control. You can see the way the way they are using police for their own political advantage. Look at what happened in River State. You saw how the police went to safeguard a collection center so that they could rig. But thank God for the revolutionary mindset of Fubara. For Fubara, because he saw it and he immediately he reacted. He knew that they were going to use the police for their political shenanigans. Now let me go to the issue of the Biafrans. The Igbos. The Igbos have insisted that they have to become the president or they go. They understand that this is not a battle for instant gratification. They understand that even if you give us the Igbo presidency today, it's not going to stop the Biafran agitation. They understand that changing their destiny from this imminent destruction to prosperity, it is a long walk. And this is why you see that they are undeterred, despite the federal government taking away their principal, Nnamdi Kanu. If they were like other tribes, look at what happened to the Yoruba agitators when Sunday Igboho was incarcerated. He died a natural death. Nobody talked about it again. That is because they haven't shown to have that revolutionary mindset. I understand Igboho has been released and now he's being used by the politicians. From my own assumptions, I think Igboho is being used as a distraction to the Yorubas, not to hold Tinubu accountable. For me, I think that's what is being used for right now. Because otherwise, why would an Igboho who can't even formulate a complete sentence be the one representing the Yorubas who are supposedly very brilliant people, enlightened, literate, high class, superior race? A man like Igboho is one. It's just a clownish show that this agitation of Yoruba leaving the country is just for the fun of it and just as a political distraction. So going back to the Biafrans, they have presented themselves as people who are resilient. They have presented themselves like fighting for freedom. Doesn't come a la carte. They don't present to you on a platter. Many of their leaders, they understood that many of their leaders could be incarcerated, but the mindset, the ideology is what a revolutionary clings onto. Nigeria is bereft of revolutionaries because there is no ideology behind the entity called Nigeria. There is no ideology, there's no concept, nothing. You can't even say this is what Nigeria stands for, other than you bringing corruption, and then corruption again. I don't think there's anything reasonable. Maybe I can say it now in the last 10 decades. I think what has taken Nigeria to a limelight for good, by the way, nothing other than our music. But after that, you can't talk about our engineering. You can't talk about our politicians are even the worst. When you talk about the worst ambassadors, they are the most terrible. These are the people who are tarnishing the image of the country, the politicians that we have, the group of politicians that we have in Nigeria today. So there's no ideology behind the entity called Nigeria. Nigeria is just it's like a floating paper on the sea. Nothing, no direction. There's nobody can lay claim to it. Nobody has this sense of belonging. Nobody has this sense of ownership. Nobody is ready to defend. When you see people defending Nigeria, they are defending it because of their own selfish personal interest, because of what they want to take away. That is the ideology. Enter there, chop and clean, come out. Chop I chop. That's the ideology. The ideology is not let me build for the future to come, enjoy, and then build more upon what I have laid down. No. The ideology of Nigeria is get in there, waiting remain, chop. If you remain for the next, and then sabi. If you don't remain, when they come, they create and eat. That is the ideology of Nigeria. And this is why you see some Nigerians will see a petrol laden tanker that fell on the floor, and they know that this thing is highly deadly. They will go there because they want to just chop and clean, still move, and then go and resell for instant gratification. This is the ideology of Nigeria. I think now I got it. Now I got it. It's unfortunate that Nigeria has got into this, and the destruction is like a ticking bomb that has gotten to that moment of explosion. I am convinced that this government are seriously messing up with the minds, thought process, the mental IQ of the Nigerian people. They are not ready to govern the people, to deliver good governance. They are not ready to implement, execute their policies. The only thing they are after is propaganda. And this is why nobody takes Nigeria seriously at this moment, at this day, today. Look at what happened to Nigeria at Libya. There's no propaganda to cover that up. They are already sponsoring people to say that this is how Libya does, that Libya has done this to Akwa Ibom United, that Libya has done this to Eyimba FC, that Libya has done this to 3SC, that this is now the trademark of Libya to Nigeria. Give us a break. Immediately this thing happened, when your team players, your players were stranded for over 2-3 hours, how long will it take the intervention of the Foreign Affairs Ministry? How long will it take the presidential will it take for the president to intervene? I don't know. Is the president so special that he will watch his patriots, its advocates, its ambassadors, which are the number one of the most important ambassadors this Nigerian country has, are its national team players. Now, they went through this experience. Now, they they were in an airport that has been abandoned. They were there for over 24 hours. And then the president spoke when they returned. It's unfortunate that this government has nothing, absolutely nothing, but propaganda to offer the Nigerian people. If you want to look at the series of propaganda that they have been using to distract the Nigerian people, it is look at what I mean. It's on the high side. Look at what this guy, this clown calling himself Sunday Igboho, he went to United Kingdom, submitted a petition to his slave masters, seeking for freedom. The same Sunday Igboho who at one time said vote for Tinubu, the same Sunday Igboho who just recently said nobody should insult Tinubu. And then you expect us, you expect the Westerners, the Yorubas, to take that for a ride. The propaganda deployed by this government is way, way higher and effective than them giving the Nigerian people good governance. And I don't know how they do it because the Nigerian people have this fickle mind. Any little thing, they are distracted. You can see the propaganda they released when they wanted to go for the last protest. They just found a way to wrap the answers, key figures, and then they jammed their heads together. These were the people who had the capacity to galvanize people to go out. They distracted them with that conversation, and no, everybody just stopped talking about the protest. Immediately after the protest, the case of maybe Femi Falana. So this one now, as a Bridgestone that we thought that it was pedo, there have been so many, I mean, arguments now. People are saying Showore is working directly with the, well, who knows? Like, who sincerely knows? I doubt it. There are no evidences, right? There's no concrete evidence. I mean, if I would say Peter is working, I mean, if I would say Showore is working with the president, I can equally say maybe Peter Obi is also working because Peter Obi is not acting like a genuine opposition that has an ideology. I can as well say that Atiku is probably an errand boy of Atiku. I mean, it is more or less like a one man controlling everybody, and he is the one telling them, you play the bad guy, you play the good guy, you play the pastor, you play the devil, I would be at the middle. So you guys should just go out there, create the scene. When you create the scene, distract these guys, let them be entertained while my tenure keeps elapsing. So, I mean, before they know it, I have exhausted my 4 year tenure, and that is it. Nothing. This is a man, the president, who had said he would give out tractors, he will cultivate 100,000 of hectares. He said he would pay 77,000 minimum wage to federal civil servants. He said he would do all manner of things. He said he would lift uh tax on some food items. All these things, they've not done it. What they just do is dilly dallying around, you know, just playing with the minds of the people. Every day, different drama. Every day, different drama. Just a few days ago, yeah, Remi Tinubu went to the Oni of Ife to, to install our own statue. There are so many arguments about that. This is a man, a president who had not gone to one farm to see the produce done. He has not been to any school to look at the research done. He has not been to places, to even the military barracks to boost the morale of the Nigerian army who are fighting against the insurgency on a daily basis, despite the risk. You know, he is not concerned about that. But the president is so quick to go and push propaganda. He's so quick to go to Borno because there was a flood, which is, of course, the failure of the government. But because of that, I don't know, whatever sympathy thinks he's sending. And because of course, they are not, of course, because they are not. So it goes there to just buy face that, so it's unfortunate that these governments are not ready. What they are just after is let us keep pushing the propaganda. Now the Nigerian youth are now having that clear view that this guy is ready to deal with us with propaganda. This guy will, in a matter of days, will come up with another propaganda to frame Showore. They'll do another propaganda again to frame Peter Obi. They'll do another propaganda again to frame Atiku. Don't forget what they did to Obi when they brought in that Yes Daddy voice recording. You know how that dealt with Peter Obi's reputation at that period of time? Nigerians, instead of Nigerians to go out there to protect their mandate, but because of that Yes Daddy, people now saw that so Peter Obi was a religious bigot. No, 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 no. So the Muslims that supported him now saw him as, no, come on, man, this guy is a religious bigot. I mean, so these are the propaganda this government has perfected. And they're not joking about it. They are damn serious in pushing this propaganda. As you all will agree, are they not succeeding?